A UK by-election boycotted by major parties delivered a seat to Reform UK, while a comedian captured over a quarter of votes, showing how protest options can shape local outcomes when turnout is low. This is Omni View, episode 143. Nigel Farage won the Clacton by-election for Reform UK after he triggered the contest to counter financial impropriety allegations. Major parties stayed out of the race. Comedian Count Binface received more than a quarter of the votes cast. The seat had been held by Farage before his resignation prompted the fresh vote. The Associated Press and Reuters both describe the contest as low profile and note the unusual presence of the comedian candidate. BBC coverage highlights the boycott by established parties and the resignation that prompted the vote. These accounts frame the result as a straightforward win for Farage amid limited competition, while also recording the comedian's share as a notable protest element. The shared facts are the candidate list, the turnout context, and the final tally. Outlets differ mainly in how much weight they give to the boycott versus the protest vote. Farage's decision to stand again followed the resignation he initiated, and the absence of major party candidates left the field open to Reform UK and independent challengers. What happens next? Official results published by the Electoral Commission will list every candidate's exact vote total and allow direct comparison with the 2024 general election numbers for the same constituency. Shifting now to Somalia. Somali authorities stated they have closed off routes used by al-Shabab, the al-Qaeda-linked group. The claim covers recent prevention of attacks in the capital region. Mogadishu officials described the measures as having completely closed the doors on the affiliate. The statement points to reduced activity in areas previously associated with the group's operations. The Economist reports the government's assertion that Mogadishu no longer deserves its past reputation for violence. Coverage notes that other actors may have contributed to reduced activity but does not name them. The account presents the statement as an official position without independent verification in the provided material. Somali authorities link the change to coordinated security steps taken in recent months. Next, Australia is reviewing evidence on its under-16 social media rules. Platforms advised Australian lawmakers against relying heavily on early data showing continued use by children despite the new ban. Lawmakers are considering stronger penalties and regulator powers. The under-16 restriction remains in place while officials assess compliance levels. Top platforms submitted the caution as Parliament weighs additional enforcement tools. Reuters reports the platform's warning alongside the government's review of the ban's first months. The account records both the evidence presented so far and the call for caution in interpreting it. Lawmakers have not yet finalized the tougher investigative measures under discussion. Meanwhile, a train derailment near Lewes injured 2 people. 2 people were seriously injured when a train derailed near Lewes. Pictures showed carriages lying on their sides. Emergency services responded to the scene and the line remained disrupted. BBC reports the incident through live updates that include photographs of the overturned carriages. The account focuses on the immediate injuries and the ongoing response without assigning cause at this stage. In markets, pressure on rate hikes has eased. Reuters' daily trading summary noted easing pressure on interest rate expectations in global markets. Bond yields and currency movements reflected the shift in sentiment during the session. The overview tracked these changes without linking them to any single policy announcement. The report tracks bond and currency movements without attributing specific causes beyond observed trading patterns. Market participants appeared to adjust positions in line with the latest data releases. Tyson Foods plans to close or sell 3 U.S. beef facilities. Tyson Foods announced it will close or sell 3 U.S. beef facilities as the industry faces ongoing difficulties. The decision affects plants operating in a sector that has reported persistent challenges with supply and demand. No timeline for the closures or sales was detailed in the initial statement. Reuters reports the company's decision alongside broader sector challenges without additional company commentary in the provided material. The facilities form part of Tyson's wider beef operations in the United States. Now, some progress worth knowing about. A judge dismissed the case against 6 Nevada Republicans accused of submitting a false 2020 electoral certificate. The years-long proceeding concluded with the ruling issued on Thursday. The certificate had falsely declared Donald Trump the winner of the state's presidential election. AP reports the ruling as the conclusion of the years-long proceeding. The account records the original charges and the final judicial decision without further detail on appeals. No immediate statements from the defendants or prosecutors appear in the available material. Now, to really understand this story, there is something most coverage leaves out. Most coverage treats a single by-election as a purely local event whose result carries little weight beyond the constituency. In the UK system, an MP's resignation or death triggers a fresh vote in that seat alone, with national parties still fielding candidates and national media paying attention. Low turnout often amplifies protest votes because regular supporters stay home while motivated opponents turn out. Historical patterns show that swings larger than 5 or 6 points in a by-election have sometimes preceded shifts at the next general election, though many such swings later faded. Knowing this mechanism lets readers judge whether a result like Reform UK's win reflects a lasting national change or a temporary local protest. When you next encounter by-election numbers, compare the winner's share to the same party's result in that seat at the most recent general election to see the size of any swing. The Clacton contest also illustrates how an independent or novelty candidate can draw votes that would otherwise go unrecorded in a two-party race. Turnout figures, once released by the returning officer, will show whether the comedian's share came from a small pool of active voters or a broader protest movement. If you want to go deeper on the Clacton by-election, compare how the Associated Press and Reuters are covering it. Tomorrow, watch for further updates on how Australian lawmakers respond to the platform's caution on the under-16 social media ban. That wraps up today's Omni View. Remember, the best-informed people read more than one perspective, and the calmest ones know that most days, somewhere, something is quietly getting better. For full source links, check out today's written briefing on the Omni View Summaries page. Share this with someone who values fair coverage. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NARA Network. Links in the show notes. This show comes to you from the NARA Network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Unintended Consequences has you covered. True stories of good intentions that backfired. All our shows are free at naranetwork.com. Live dashboards, TSLA, SpaceX launches, the investing scoreboard are all at naranetwork.com/data. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.